Yeah, they're oversized. They're really oversized. Hey everyone, so as you can see today we have the Chanel oversized palettes. These are the spring summer collection. Usually Chanel releases these I think like late December or January, and then the LeBlanc collection comes out February, March. And there's a lot of confusion over the different collections, so let me just clear up really quickly. These oversized palettes, which I'm going to get to in a minute, nail polishes, liner, mascara, and re-promotes of lipsticks, that is the spring summer collection. That is what we usually see late December, sometimes January. The LeBlanc collection, or I think it's the LeBlanc collection, I haven't been able to get confirmation on it, is the pastel looking quad and the highlighting blush, and there's a bunch of other things in that collection as well. That, I've been told, is coming out March 1st through the 15th in the United States. But I've also heard it's going to have a much earlier launch other places, other countries. So it could be as early as February 10th, February 15th, some other places. But here in the US, it's probably March. Your guess is as good as mine, honestly, at this point, because things have been all over the place. So we'll have to see. But today we get to talk about spring, and we get to talk about spring, summer. Definitely oversized palettes. When I saw pictures of these several months back, I realized that they were oversized, but I didn't really understand how big they were until I got them. This is 957 Tendresse, and this is 958 Caractere, or something like that. I'm going to talk a little bit about the other red eyeshadow quads that came out last couple years. I'm going to do some comparisons just to take a look at the Dior Mitzah palette. I have comparisons for the eyeliner as well, which we'll get into it all in a minute. But the two things I want to say about these oversized quads, because I think these are going to be the most popular things that are part of this collection. One, yes, they are limited edition. It says right on the box, limited edition. So whether that means they'll be around for a while, I don't know. The oversized bronzers, which I'm going to talk about in a second because we're just going to talk about size, also said limited edition. They still seem to be available. So use that for what you may. They are 0.42 ounces. They are made in Italy. They have an 18-month shelf life. The bronzer, oversized bronzer, is made in Italy. It is 0.53 ounces, so there's more product in here. And I think they're about the same price, $90. I'll double check that. But I did buy this from my Chanel boutique, from an SA. I do not think these are available online yet. I have not seen them. Again, it may be March before they're available online or in other retailers, or it could just pop up tomorrow. Don't know. But I do know that they're available at the Chanel boutiques in the United States. That I do know. So what else do I know? We can see the swatches above. So I have swatches on my arm that I did. And the two things that I want to say, this is in indoor lights. This is not outside, but they're not nearly as pigmented as I thought they were going to be. The shades in here, I thought they were going to be much redder. They're not. And I thought they were going to be like super pigmented, and they're not. There's also a similar shade in these two. So here's what I would call the lighter one. This is the Tendresse, and here is the Caractere. And there's a plum shade, I'm sure you can see it already, that's in both of these. That one there, and then the one at the top left there, or vice versa on the camera. But that is a very similar shade. When you'll see the swatches that are going up right now, it's the first one on the top part of my arm towards my elbow, and then the one towards my hand. Those two shades, those plummy shades, they are very, very similar. They both have a satin finish. The rest have satin finishes, except for this shade in the Tendresse, which is like a peach, and as you can see on my hand, it's like a satiny peach, and then this gold here in the Caractere, which is like a satiny, shimmery gold. Those are the only ones that are in here that have a shimmer to them. I look at these and I see blush. I see blush. I see highlighter. I do not see eyeshadow. But this is similar to how I felt about the Mitzah palette, and I've gotten lots of questions about this since. I really like the Mitzah palette for the formula that's in here, and I actually think it's a really nice palette. But to me, this is a face palette. This to me is something I would use on my cheeks, and then maybe there's a couple, and highlighter, and maybe there's a couple shades in here that I would use on my eye, like to accent. But I do not see this as an eyeshadow palette. That's because I personally don't like pinks on my eyes. Like, I just don't like a pink shade on my eyes. I don't think it looks good. So these are called eyeshadow and blush palettes. It says it right there on the front packaging. It's not like it's, you know, ambiguous. It says eyeshadow and blush. So it's meant to be both. Absolutely, if you're somebody who likes the shades that, you know, the swatches, yeah. I mean, if you like those peachy, pinky, rosy shades, sure. I mean, put them on your eyes. From what I can tell about the formula, I think it'll be very nice. Again, though, these aren't things I'm going to reach for my eyes because these aren't shades that appeal to me as an eyeshadow shade. But it's not about the formula. From what I can feel so far, I've only used them once. The formula is nice. It's not extraordinary in any way, by the way, but it's nice. Like, it seems good. So what I thought I would do is I would do one eye with one palette, one eye with the other palette, and then also use the palette all over the face, because why not? It's a cheek and eye palette. So let's do that. So we're going to do that today so you can see it. And then I will have comparisons at the end. So again, I'll have lots of timestamps. Nail polish. The nail polishes, I believe, are existing nail polishes, but I could be wrong because I'm being very honest with you guys. I stopped paying attention to the nail polishes several years ago. Back in the day, I used to actually get my nails done. I had gel nails done. So you had like whatever shades they had in gels. And then I just stopped doing my nails altogether. It's not that I don't try to keep them nice. I try to keep them manicured, but I didn't use nail polish. And then only recently in the last couple of years have I started wearing nail polish again. It's just not something I do. So I don't know if these were repromotes or not, and I couldn't get clarification, but I did know that I did not have the shades. I do have a bunch of Chanel nail polishes actually from way back in the day, and then from more recently when I've started, you know, buying more of them. Mostly for you guys, to be honest. But I did not have 969 and 967, Watermelon and Rouge Clair. So here is Watermelon, and here is Rouge. Now I'm going to get the spelling, the pronunciation of this one right. Hold on a second. Oh, there's no way. Okay, I'm going to try this. Cuya. That's not it. I understand how it's supposed to be pronounced, guys, but I can't make that sound. So you're going to have to listen to my phone do it. There you go. Rose that. And I think the translation, at least it's telling me, is hide/leather. So it's rouge leather. Cure. That's as close as I can get. And this shade, the Rouge Cure, is really nice. It's a rosewood. My nails, I did not do them well. Like this one I even scratched because I'm trying to do it while I'm doing 3 other things. So this is not a nice manicure on my hands, but you can see the shades. So this is the Rouge. It's a really nice rosewood. I actually really like the shade. I will say it's probably, quote, like a traditional nail polish shade. It's like an everyday rosewood shade, but I do like it. I think it's really pretty. And the Watermelon is a beautiful coral. Actually, it's got like a pinky coral. It looks kind of like watermelon. It's not as pink, but it's a really, really pretty shade. I think this is going to be very nice for spring, summer. And eventually I will do my nails in a, like I'll actually do my nails and they'll look nice. But those are the 2 shades. If you're interested in the nail polish, those are them. Like I said, terrible job on the actual application. I slapped them on minutes before I started doing this and they look terrible, but at least you can see the colors. So yeah, they're worth picking up if you like those shades or if you don't have them. They're very pretty. The liner. The liner is interesting. It's Eau Rose, and I could be imagining this. It is entirely possible, but I'm almost 100%, I'm like 99% sure that 10 years ago they released Eau Rose, that this is a re-promote. I'm almost positive. However, I don't have it. I did not buy it back in the day. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get it. Before we do the palettes, I'm going to show you the Eau Rose on the back of my hand because I will use it on my eyes. And I also want to show it to you compared to some other rose shades that have come out from Chanel. The thing I tell you about the shade is that, first of all, it's not really rose. It's kind of peachy gold, I guess. That's the shade that I get from it. So it's light. Like it's not super pigmented, and it's not really that rosy. Rose Quadra, which came out before, I think it was last year, is definitely more of a rose shade, like pink rose. And then we have Caractere Dore, which is more of just like, or Quiver d'Or, which is more of a just bronze, copper. You can see this one has more peach than this one, the new one, or rose. And then Orientique, just so you can see it in comparison, is definitely more yellow gold. So when I say this Or Rose is not really rosy compared to the gold, it absolutely is, but it's not pink. It's like a peach. So it doesn't match. It's not exact like any of the others. I think it's going to be a very pretty shade, but if you don't like this kind of peachy, pinky gold, you know, rose gold kind of shade, it's not going to be for you. And it is light, so it's not going to have like a contrast really on your eyes. So just something to keep in mind. I did pick up the mascara. I'm almost positive that I'm going to hate this because this is the same formula as came out last year. This is the Noir, the Allure mascara that I said flaked everywhere and I hated. However, I am one of those people that I feel like it's only fair to try something in different stages. So in other words, I only tried the first one that came out. This is the second take on it. And it's, of course, red, which I don't love either. But, you know, I want to see if the formula is better. Maybe it's better. Maybe they took in everything we said and changed it. Maybe not. This is Rouge Grenat. So we'll see. Again, I don't think I'm going to like the color. And I'm very much doubting that I'm going to like the formula because the last one I hated. But I want to give it its fair shot. So I will let you know if it flakes all over my face later in the day. The Balm Essential, though, that came with it, I did not buy. And the reason I did not buy that is because I have given that product several tries and I just don't like it. It's just not a product that works on me. It stays wet on my skin and I don't like it. So I did not buy it. But I have been told that it's a similar shade to the nail polishes. So it's got that rougey shade. And if you like the product, then there you go. Go ahead and pick it up. All right, so let's start with using this as a face palette. Now, like I said, this shade in the Tendresse, this is the lighter one, and this shade in the Caractere are very, very similar. It's like a plummy shade. It's, as you can see by the swatches, I'll put the swatches up again. It's a nice shade, but it does look very similar in both. We're going to try it on the eye in a minute, but so I feel like, you know, okay, that shade is like a plum, like a rosewood kind of plummy shade. It looks very pretty. The brownish shade in the Tendresse, in the lighter quad, is almost reminiscent of Jersey as a blush, a little bit similar. And then the peach in there is a peach tone. The peachy shimmery shade I'm going to use as a highlighter because I think that'll work best on me because it's a little cooler toned. Whereas the gold in the Caractere, I think it's too warm for me as a highlighter. The red in there will make a great blush for folks who want that rosy red look or have a deeper skin tone. And for those of you who are pale like me, what I would do with that red shade is I would put it on first if you want to use it as blush, and then put your foundation over it because that works better. But the brown that's in there might actually work for me as a bronzer. So that's how we're going to do this. That's kind of the goal today. Whether any of this is going to work, I honestly do not know. So I'm going to use my Chikuhodo brushes today. These are FO brushes. They're very soft brushes. and we're gonna see what happens. But I am gonna use the 22 brush for the bronzer aspect of this, and I'm gonna use the one in the Caractere here. Now this shade, if you can see on my hand, it has like a pinky brown. It has kind of like rosewood, and I think it'll work if I use it sparingly as kind of a cool bronzer for my face. So I think you can see that actually this does work for me as kind of a bronzer. It is a cool toned bronzer, absolutely. It's certainly not warm on me because, again, things go cooler on me. But it's not like this is not like a cool shade. Like, I think what I'm trying to say is, like, it's going to go cooler on me because of the undertones in here and the undertones of my skin. But it's not like it's a purple. It's not like it's a pink. It's got a cooler tone to it, though, than, say, the gold that's in the same palette. This is what I'm talking about. This shade is relatively cool. This shade is very, very warm. Very, very warm. This shade is, this plummy shade is cool. And this red, it's actually kind of a neutral red for red. So these are the warmer shades. This is the warmest. So I think actually I get a kind of a cooler look from that one than from the Tendresse, which actually to me goes warmer, except for the shade. All right, so that's what I'm going to use as bronzer today. I think actually that's not bad. I mean, it doesn't look ridiculous, so that's a plus right there. So one thing down. Then let's take, I'm going to use this sort of jersey looking shade. It's kind of jersey looking. And I'm going to use that on my cheeks, kind of like a broader blush. Yeah, that's a very pretty shade. You look at it on my finger, you can see what I'm talking about. It has a little bit of pink in it, but it's more like almost like a beige shade. What I'm going to do on top of that is I'm going to take and then we're going to go back to the Tendresse here. And I'm going to take this more satiny, shimmery shade. And I'm going to use that as kind of like a highlighting blush. Because again, all of these actually are too deep for me as a highlighter. The gold in the other one is too warm and too deep. But as a highlighting blush, yeah, I think that's going to look nice. It's very pretty. Very nice. Definitely warm, peachy kind of shade. I have my hair up today because I wanted you to be able to see all the stuff on my face, but it is like freshly washed, so it's like it's like super frizzy. Okay, so let's just do this like on the eye, a look at each quad, and see what we get. Let's do a relatively simple look with it. Let's start with the taupey shade that I used as blush as transition. Yeah, it's pretty, not super, as you can see, not super pigmented. As I did the Tom Ford Forbidden Pink, the transition shade here that I'm using in Tendresse is not that different than the taupey shade that's in Forbidden Pink, although this is warmer. The shade in Forbidden Pink is a cooler taupe. Not to talk about Tom Ford when we're doing Chanel, but just to say. Okay, so that shade is, like I said, it's a little bit warmer than my skin tone and a little bit deeper than my skin tone. It's kind of an apricot-y shade, a little bit more beige. And then let's take the plum shade that I think, like I said, is very similar to the shade that's in the other palette, in the Caractere palette. And let's use that to accentuate. Yeah, it's got, you can see it's a plummy rosewood, as you could see in the swatches. Now, I'm not going to put that all over my eye. I'm actually just going to keep that on the outside because that is probably my least favorite shade that's in this for my eyes. Like these three shades here for my eyes I actually like very much. The shade for my eyes, not so much. For my cheeks, sure. But for my eyes, I'm just kind of like, not really my thing. So let's take the more peachy shade that I did not use on my face. Yeah, it's a nice apricot. I'm going to like it more on my cheeks than I'm going to like it on my eyes. But, you know, it's nice. The formula is good. It's a little dry. Like it's not super soft. I wouldn't say that it's really creamy, but it's also not super powdery. I'm going back with the beige shade from the beginning, the transition shade, just intensifying. Yeah, I think it's like, it's a good, it reminds me of a Chanel eyeshadow. It doesn't remind me of the Chanel blush formula of old, if anyone's asking. This is not that formula. All right, now I'm gonna go in with the only shimmery shade that's in there, this peach shade. You like that peach shade. That's the one that I used as blush, highlighting blush. And I think that's a very nice shade. But again, this isn't my favorite, you know, eye color story from Chanel. It's nice. I like it better as a face palette than an eyeshadow palette, but that's the kind of look you're gonna get if you stay with the warmer shades in here. Like I said, that plum shade that's in this one, and I'm gonna put the one right next to it that's in Caractere. Can you see there is a difference? This is Tendresse. See, it's warmer. Here's Caractere. But, you know, the difference, here's the Caractere, and I mean, here's the Tendresse, and here's the Caractere. I'd say the Tendresse is warmer because the whole palette's warmer, but it's not drastically different. It's very similar. The Tendresse is definitely a warmer palette. The Caractere, I think, has more coolness to it, except for this shade, which is interesting to me. But anyway, we're about to try it on the eye, so we'll see if that's true. All right, so what I'm gonna do is similar to what I just did with the Tendresse. I'm gonna go in with the lightest shade here, which is what I used as bronzer for myself today. Kind of a rosy, like rosewood shade, obviously deeper than the beigey shade that's in the Tendresse. You can already see this shade is cooler and, you know, has more pink to it than the beige shade that I put down. I'm calling it beige, but, you know, it's kind of got more warmth to it than beige. But this is not going to be my favorite shade on my eyes. I used it as, you know, a cool toned bronzer on my skin today. It's definitely more of a rosewood shade. It's a cool toned shade, which I don't particularly love on my eyes. So I'm already probably gonna like this more for my eyes. All right, so then we're gonna take the plummy shade that you saw it, this one here, that's a little cooler than the one in Tendresse. And we're gonna put that on the outer corner of the eye. Just kind of deepen this. Now, I am not going to take that red shade and put it all over my lid because I don't think that's going to look good. I really don't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the gold shade and I'm going to put it all over my eye. This is the one that has some shimmer to it, just like the peach one, but it's got more shimmer than the peach, in my opinion, in the Tendresse. I'm going to take my finger and do it. That's how you get the most out of it. And I think you can tell already that has more shimmer. And I think that is actually a nice eye look because I avoided the red. I don't love it, like either one of these color stories, because they're just not my color stories. The red shade, however, I am going to show you. I'm going to take it and we'll put it on the outer corner of the eye, but I think you're going to see that when I mix it, because I have got the gold down, it won't be as red. It'll be a little warmer, but it's definitely red. And for me, again, my favorite shades in both of these palettes are this one, which is the gold shimmery shade, and this peachy shimmery shade, which I think are nice. Like, I think they're nice aspects to the eye. Like you could put on, I put a little bit more peach on this side, like as, you know, just the shimmery look, or this peach I think makes a very nice blush on me, a highlighting blush, because of my skin tone. I think it looks nice. So I actually have a similar look on both eyes because I downplayed the reds in here as much as I could. Anytime you take the shades in here that are more pink or more red, you know, you're just going to get more of that red because it kind of overtakes it. This shade, this palette, the Caractere, that is definitely more red, more cool, pinky red, except for this gold, of course. Because you can just see on this outer corner here where I've got most of those red shades, how like reddish pink it is. And then this one is definitely more warm leaning, and you get this sort of peachy apricot kind of thing because I put on very little of this. And even though it is, you know, like that plum shade, it definitely has more warmth to it than the one in Caractere, which is definitely like a cooler, more rosy shade. So even though they look very similar in the pan, there is a difference on the eye. But I don't think, you know, if I were to look at these two and I'd say, do you need both of them? No, I absolutely don't think you need both. But I'd also say, what do you like better? Do you like a cooler palette? Do you like a warmer palette? And how deep is your skin tone? Because honestly, if you're going to use this as a face palette, this is definitely deeper. So, you know, I think this is, in my mind, more suitable for a deeper skin tone. However, if you like a cooler story and you really like that gold, then you're going to be, you know, drawn towards this. If you like a warmer color story and you like the peach, then, you know, even though you might have a deeper skin tone, you might be more inclined to go with that one. All right, so let's do the Or Rose on the eyes. And I'll do it on both so you can see with both of them. I think you'll notice that it doesn't really show up like much because, like I said, it's a light shade, and I think actually you'll see this more on a deeper skin tone because of the contrast. On me, it kind of blends into my skin tone a little bit. Okay, there is the Or Rose liner. And like I said, I'm almost positive, so close to being absolutely positive that this came out in 2013. But anyway, I did not have it from before, so I was like, well, okay, I'll get it. All right, let me clean up my under eye a little bit, and then we'll come and do the mascara. All right, the mascara. This is the Allure mascara. This is the same one that came out before, except of course it's red. So we're gonna see what it does. In this video, you will not see me talk about the flakiness or anything because obviously I'll have to do this off camera and tell you if it flakes and all that good stuff. But here's the one from last year. It does look the same. As far as I can tell, I mean, it doesn't look any different brush-wise. So, but who knows? Maybe the formula's better. So let me curl my lashes. Now you can see how it looks with the shade, and then I'll update you all on the flakiness. I will say that same is true for last time when I first tried this mascara. It actually does grab every lash. Like, it's got one of those very prickly brushes. So it actually does lengthen, and I was actually impressed with the Allure mascara last time. I was like, oh, when I first used it, I was like, oh, this really gets all your lashes. And it's not my kind of brush because I tend to go quickly with my mascara, and so I don't like a brush that I can poke my eye out with. But I get that, you know, a lot of people would like it because it gets at every lash. But then it clumped and flaked everywhere. Like at the end, no matter how many times I tried it, whether I, you know, just did one coat, two coats, half a coat, no matter what, it flaked. So it was not worth it in the end. And I ended up hating the mascara because you can't wear it because it just flakes. But I do think the brush itself is a brush that would work for those people who want like a really good lengthening brush, because it gets every single lash. And when you're doing it anyway, it doesn't feel particularly wet or particularly dry. It just feels, like a good mascara formula. And I didn't have a problem with it while I was testing it. It was, afterwards that I had so many issues with it, which is unfortunate. Okay, mascara's on. Yeah, it's actually not a bad red. What I mean by that, like, is it's a deep enough red that it doesn't make you look sickly, or it's not making me look sickly. But I'm trying to like show you the red shade on the back of my hand and build it up a little bit. But I've never really been a huge fan of, different shades of mascara, because I always feel like the whole point of mascara is to darken your lashes, deepen your lashes as a contrast. And so any color that's not black is just not going to be as much of a contrast. So that's the shade. That's the reddish shade. It doesn't actually look bad. I don't think it makes my eyes look, I don't think I look ill or anything. So yeah, I think it's okay. The mascara is lengthening. I think it looks, fine in regards to what it does, but I'm going to assume it's going to flake just like the other one. I'm making that assumption, but I will actually verify it later for you guys and let you all know. But, the mascara itself, the wand is very prickly. It's lengthening. I don't think it's a bad mascara. It's just that if it does what it did last time, which is to flake all over the place, then, what is the point? So, yeah. So let's talk about comparisons with the palette here. So I showed you comparisons with the liners. Let's take a look at some of the other palettes, that eyeshadow palettes that Chanel has come out with that are like these red shades, and just let's take a look. First, I want to say that the Christian Dior Mitzah palette actually, in my opinion, has nicer shades in it than the Chanel's. And it's all in one palette. So there are, 10 shades in here. So it's 10 different shades, which if you're going to do a face palette that's also an eye palette, why not have them all in one? There are similarities, obviously. The shade is this one in the upper right-hand corner. The peachy shade, similar to the peachy shade here. The plum is similar to the plum here. The orange shade, maybe that one there. So there's similarities in the color stories, but like how many different colors of blush is there, I guess? And I would also say, like with this one, if you notice for the Caractere, like this gold, that to me is more of like an eyeshadow than a highlighter, because it's too deep and too sparkly for me. But again, it would work better for a deeper skin tone than mine. This palette doesn't have anything like that. There's nothing in here that's actually that shimmery in the Mitzah palette. And to be honest, there's nothing that gold. Like these are more, like a highlighting kind of very light peach. And then it gets a little deeper, a little pinker, a little more pink, a little bit more rosy, and then a little bit more like rosewood. Like there's definitely a gradation here. These are just, I don't know, they're just somehow not as, I just don't like them as much, to be honest with you, like for my face or my eyes. For my eyes, I definitely don't like them, but I don't like the Mitzah palette either. And for my face, they're fine, but I would rather have the Chanel blush formula back from 10 years ago. Like I'd rather have that than these. Again, this is just my personal take. I'm not saying there's anything bad about it, but I'm just not like, these are the greatest things ever. They're fine. Let's look at, this is the Experience eyeshadow. And first of all, I just want to say, for like, when we're talking about how oversized these are, like it's oversized. There really is a huge difference between the eyeshadow palettes and this eyeshadow blush palette. But in this one, you can see like most of the shades in here are actually pretty grounded, pretty brown. And then you have the one very red shade. And that's the Experience one. In the Caractere, you can see the red in here is actually much more of a neutral, warmish red than the one that's in the experience. It's actually, the experience one is actually more muted, more brown in its red. And then we have Quadra eyeshadow, and there's a red in here as well, but the other shades are, you know, we've got a green, a white. Again, it's similar to the one that's in the experience. It's kind of like a burnished red brown, so it's not, you know, super red. We have the Ambre quad, which I just wanted to show you, like, yes, this has like a warmth to it, but it's much warmer and much more autumn, like an eyeshadow palette, whereas this one to me looks more like just a warm cheek palette. And then last but not least, Provocation, and this one is the pinkiest reddish eyeshadow palette that I have, and even this one is actually not red. It's really more like purpley red. Like, it's not even red. So this shade in the Caractere is the most red shade I have in Chanel, like just pure red. If you're talking about for eyeshadow, right? Like for a blush, again, it totally makes sense to me. As an eyeshadow, it's just not going to appeal to me. Like, it's just not going to be what I like. There are other palettes that Chanel did that had that red, which I don't like. Dior's had some that are just the red. It's just not a shade that I go for. Now, if you mix the red with the gold, I think, and I've done that with looks for Dior, and I've done that for looks with other palettes, then I think it looks nice. Like when I mix these two, because I mostly relied on this shade. But, you know, that's not really using most of the palette, to be honest with you. I really focused most of the look on these two shades and kept as little of those two shades as physically possible. This one, the Tendresse, I like more, but I don't really think it has a lot of like pop or anything, because it's a more subdued, peachy, warm look, because you can wear it on your face and your eyes. So it's not sparkly. It's not really like the shades aren't drastically different. They're very similar, because again, you're going to want something that you can use on your cheeks and your eyes. So you don't want something that's going to be like an inner corner highlight and a brow shade and, you know, that kind of thing. So my thoughts on these, to be honest with you, is that I don't really like them. But I think it's the color story. The formula is fine. We'll have to see how it wears. I think it actually blends really well. It does. It doesn't blend all into one. You definitely get a distinct difference between the different shades. I find that it's not accentuating lines in my eyelids or on my face. Like, you know, it blends really well into the skin. I think it's a nice powdery formula. I think it's pigmented enough. I'm going to take that red shade for a second, and I'm just going to put a little like pop on my cheeks. I think the red shade is going to be great for somebody who wants a brighter blush and who wants or needs a deeper shade. I think that red is very pretty, and that whole like cold girl look, that's what this red shade can give you. On me though, you know, that's very easily going to be like too much color, or make me look like my rosacea is acting up. So I tend to stay away from that. But if I put it on underneath my foundation, that would work. But you can see that there's definitely pigment there. Like these aren't not pigmented. They are pigmented. But I have a lot of blush, and I'd rather have back the old formula of Chanel than have these oversized palettes. And again, I think this goes to, guys, my thing about multi-use products. Some people love multi-use products, and I get it. Like, it's minimal. You can take like one thing with you when you travel. Like, you could just take this one palette and you can use it on your lips. You can use it on your cheeks. You can use it on your eyes, and you're all set and you're good to go. I do understand that, and the ease of that, and multi-use sticks and everything. I'm just one of those people again, this is personal preference, that I feel like when you have a product that does multiple things, it doesn't do any one of them exceptionally. I feel like I would rather have an exceptional product that works on my cheeks, and then another product that works exceptionally well on my eyes, and another one for my lips. I don't feel like, maybe because my skin is dry, something that works extremely well on my cheeks necessarily works extremely well on my eyes. I like the formula to be a little bit different for different reasons, and the shades. So I would wear like a pop of red on my cheeks underneath foundation if I was looking for that certain look, but I am never going to gravitate to putting red on my eyes. It's just not something I'm going to do. Other people I have seen with red eyeshadow look amazing in it. It's just, it doesn't complement my coloring. So for me, yeah, I'm never really going to gravitate towards something that has reds and pinks and plums for an eye / cheek palette. I think it creates a pretty look. I think it looks nice. It's just not going to be my thing. So I have to say, between the two of them, if I were just to buy them for myself, I would buy the Tendresse because this one I could make work for my face. These will all look good on my my coloring, and they'll look lovely as cheek products. This will be a highlighting blush. This is a blush. This actually will work as a blush, like I did, like sort of like a beigey jersey kind of shade blush. This is actually nice too. It's a warmer shade of plum, and I think it'll look nice on me as a face palette. The only thing I would say is my favorite shade in here is this gold, but my favorite shade is this gold for the eye look. So in a way, I kind of wish this gold was here instead of this warmish plum. Like I wish that was the gold shade. And then I would tell you, yes, buy this. And I would definitely, what I would do is I would use like this as transition, and then I'd use the gold shade all over my eye, and I'd have an eye look. And then I'd take the two peach shades and use this as blush and use this as highlighting blush, and I would have an eye / blush palette. But Chanel didn't ask me. So that's what I would want. So yeah, I'd pick the Tendresse. That's the one I would buy. I think this one's a little too deep for me, and frankly, I don't like the red, so it's a waste of shade for me. But this one's definitely cooler and deeper, but I really like that gold shade. So I don't know what I would say about that, because it's not in the other one. The eyeshadow, the eyeliner, the Or Rose, this is not going to be a favorite shade of mine because it's just really light, and you know, it's just this like kind of pinky, rosy, peachy gold shade. I think that if you put it in the inner corner of your eye, maybe you get something from that. Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of shimmer there that's nice, but I don't think it's like a great liner for me anyway, 'cause it's very similar to my skin tone. It's nice, and I love those liners, so I was gonna buy it, and I don't have the one from 10 years ago, so you know. The mascara, I'll see if it flakes. I'll let you guys know. The shade is this reddish shade, so you know, that's just how it looks. Depends if you want that in your mascara. It's not too red though. It doesn't look like red. Like it doesn't make my eyes look like I'm sick. So I'll give it that. The nail polishes are actually probably my favorite thing of this collection, which is funny because I really don't wear nail polish that much, but I really like these shades. This is a really pretty coral. That's what I would call it. I know it's watermelon, but I think it's really pretty. And this is just a really nice rosewood. Like it's just a really good, like that's a shade that I would like wear to an office setting. Like I know it sounds weird, but I just think it's a really good rosewood. So I really like it. So I like the shades. And I'm going to say again, like, I'm not saying these are bad. Okay. I think they're $90 a piece. $90 just seems a lot of money to me to pay for blushes that, you know, they're not the old formula. I can tell you that. So if they were the old formula and I got 4 Chanel blushes for $90, yeah, that would be worth it. But that's not what I feel like these are. They feel nice. They feel like okay blushes, but I don't think they're not the formula of old. I can tell you that right now. And for eyeshadows, you know, I don't know. They're just not my shades. So this is not my favorite Chanel spring summer collection, guys. I'm really have my fingers crossed that I'm going to like I think LeBlanc is what it's going to be called, the LeBlanc more. And I really hope that's the case because this, I don't know, it just is, I mean, I guess the oversized thing is kind of cool, but other than that, really not on my, I would just be like, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's not my favorite. So thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you in another video really soon.